Guys, I share commands today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. How you doing? Oh man, oh man, oh man, it is warm where I am. It is warm today. I had to shut my AC off to record today's champion guide, and that is crazy here on April 4th at the time of this recording. Welcome to the Champion Guide. Today, guys, it's going to be a good one because we're going to look at one of the 4th anniversary champions that were added as a fragment summon. It is Elhain, Supreme Elhain at that. A lot of you guys probably have her, maybe a few of you guys, half of you guys. If not, well, thank you so much for watching the video, even though you don't. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into Supreme Elhain. What does she do? What is she good for? Where can you use her? We're going to take a look at her multipliers, and we're also going to take a look at the lore surrounding this champion that I honestly missed when she was introduced to the game. So I'm excited for today's video. Here she is, Supreme Elhain. I mean, she's looking a lot like Elhain, right? I mean, they did a pretty good job here. This is the evolution of Elhain. You ever watch one of those videos? I'm a sucker for acapella. It's a little guilty pleasure of mine. So I'm a big fan of pentatonics. If you want to see, like, they have the evolution of Beyonce, evolution of Rihanna, evolution of other stuff. So you can check out that video if you like it as well. Anyway, we have Elhain here. She's looking good. I like Elhain. And then we have Dark Elhain, who I don't like Dark Elhain. She is, dude, I did it again. Man. I don't like Dark Aethel. I love Dark Elhain. I'm so sorry, guys. Those of you who watched the video originally when I was talking about Supreme Elhain, you know that I just made the same mistake again. Anyway, I apologize. I do love Dark Elhain. So she looks a little bit spicier here. Obviously, she's got the frost covering her. And then we graduate to the big boy version, or the good big girl version of Supreme Elhain here. And she is decked out in all her majesty. Looking pretty good there aesthetically. Obviously, she's a Void Affinity Legendary champion, so no negative or bad affinity matchups. We don't have too much HP on this champion. She's very similar to the rare version of Elhain. 13,875. She does have 15K on, or 15,000, excuse me, 1,500 on the attack. She does have 1,500 on the attack and an 1,145 on the defense. 102 on the speed. Nothing really jumps out at me as being super OP about the base stats. Her attack is pretty nice, but other than that, exemplar of strikes on her A1, okay? Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit transfers a random debuff from this champion to the target. It's actually a pretty useful A1. It's kind of like a mini self-cleanse that she has in her kit. So, you know, it could be worse. I've seen worse A1s out there in the game. Let None Live is her AoE attack on the A2. It's an AoE on a 3-turn cooldown. Damage increases by 10% for each debuff on each target. Resets the cooldown of Crack Shot, which is her A3, if this attack kills an enemy. There's a really nice synergy here between her A2 and her A3, which we'll talk about. Let's just talk about right now. Crack Shot attacks one enemy, ignoring ally protection, strengthen, and shield. Basically, Necret the Great, right? Grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. You can book it down to 4-turn cooldown. So you get an extra turn after cracking, Necret in the face, and then you come back into Let None Live, you attack everybody, and then you reset that cooldown if you kill an enemy of Crack Shot again, and then you just keep going back and forth. So on paper, it looks really OP. I will say that, I'm just going to say out the gate here, I actually like this champion. I think she's pretty dang good nuker, but she belongs on a go first team in the arena. I just want to say that out the gate because she's not Candrafon, she's not Nutcracker in terms of somebody who can really dish out a ton of damage with their having no debuffs on the target, okay? At least in my experience. So Let None Live, she's best farming your Great Hall, essentially, right? Using Arbiter or using whoever you're using as a speed or a lead in speed boosters, and then having a Madame Ceres, having a Ryan the Conjurer, having somebody to remove buffs and also place debuffs on the enemy team, right? So whoever your debuffer du jour is, even a Stagnite works well because he's bringing decreased defense and decreased attack on the same ability. So the more debuffs, the merrier, because that's going to get a lot of extra damage here on the Let None Live. Again, having debuffs is where she thrives, so she's great on a go first team. On her passive, immune to decreased attack debuffs, inflicts 20% more damage against targets whose attack is lower than this champion's attack, which is fairly easy to achieve. And this implaceable passive, I factored this into how I built this champion, right? I mean, it's not a game changer per se, but I wanted to make sure her attack is high, but also her speed is high. So I wanted my cake and I wanted to eat it too. I'm still not sure I understand that saying. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the builds, right? So normally I would say this champion screams Savage or Lethal gear, but I switched things up a little bit on you guys, and I went with triple Cruel gear, right? So I have Cruel, Cruel, Cruel. That's going to give us a whopping 45% extra attack, right? We're going to be ignoring 15% of enemy defense instead of 25 from Lethal or Savage, but I feel like people don't utilize Cruel on champions where you really want their attack to be super high. We're sacrificing a little bit of ignoring enemy defense, so that is the give and the take there. So of course, there's absolutely nothing wrong with going with Savage or going with Lethal gear as well. But for me, I was like, you know what? Let's make sure we're always going to have higher attack than our opponents. Which is going to be the case against everybody except for their nukers most of the time anyway, so you don't have to go overboard. But this is a nice way of getting her attack scaled really high, over 5,000, without having to put her in attack percentage boots. Because I want her to be fast enough so where she's not going to be lapped by the other team or anything like that. So again, I have speed on the boots, I have attack percentage on the chest, I have crit damage on the gauntlets here. I have, let's go ahead and upgrade it. Let's just do it here. Here we go. We don't need the extra defense, but it's a nice to have. We haven't glyphed her all out here either, so and we haven't ascended her artifacts, so really, it's not my best gear on the account or anything like that. I will go ahead and upgrade the old boots. I farmed some Sand Devil overnight. Man, Sand Devil takes forever, huh, guys? Oof. Oof, it's a long time. Let me go ahead and ascend this too. Hope you guys don't mind a little interlude, right? Attack percentage? You know what? Oil takes is so long to come by that I think I'm just going to sit on my oil for a little bit to use it on a champion that I use a little bit more often than Supreme Elhain. But you know what? We're 1% shy on crit rate. So let's just see if we can get it, guys. Hopefully you don't mind again hey, we get attack percentage on crit damage on Cruel gear. I mean, attack percentage on the chest and on the gauntlets are really, really solid. So I am not disappointed at all with that. So we have attack on the banner. We have crit damage on the amulet, and we have attack again on the ring. Now, I will say she's very squishy. So this build, it's okay for arena. It's okay for anywhere that I know she's not going to be dying, right? Enough protection around her, which is going to be the case. We're going to use her on Doom Tower hard today, and we're going to maybe take a quick run in the arena as well on a go first team. So I'd probably like her a little bit faster if I was going to be nitpicky here on the go first. She only needs accuracy for the transfers random buffs from this champion to the target, or random debuffs, excuse me. So I'm not going to go out of my way to build her with tons and tons of accuracy only for that ability. And 200 accuracy in most areas, it's probably going to be enough. Again, she is Void Affinity too, so I don't have to worry about weak affinity matchups there. So those are the stats, guys. Again, if I was building Supreme Elhain on my free-to-play account, I'd probably sacrifice the crit damage on the well, maybe I wouldn't, depending on where I use her. If I'm using her in dungeons, I'd probably just go crit rate on the gauntlets, especially if I was early to mid-game, and just go with some more survivability. I'd probably still see if I could get away with attack percentage on my chest, but I would definitely not be afraid of going with defense or defense percentage on my ring and on my banner on this champion. All right, Masteries on Supreme Elhain. We have a nuker arena build on her right now. God, I feel like I repeated this build in particular so many times here on the channel. We went with defense, we went offense. We came down, we picked up Retribution to counterattack deterrence to have a chance at counterattacking as well. We obviously picked up Helm Smasher, having a 50% chance of ignoring 25 more of defense. Sign me up, please. Of course, Ruthless Ambush, one of my favorite masteries out there for arena nukers. 8% more damage on your first hit. And bring it down, it's always going to be proccing on this build, particularly for Supreme Elhain, excuse me, with her HP being as low as it is. Increased damage inflicted by 6% when attacking targets with higher max HP. So we're getting 6% extra damage there. We're getting 8% extra damage there. That's 14% extra damage off of 2 masteries on our first hit on the target. She's going to be doing a lot of damage. So Cycle of Violence has a 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn if the damage inflicted exceeds 30% of the target's max HP. So that's a really good one. I picked that up instead of Opportunist, but you can go either or, depending if you have her with a stun champion. If I was running her with like a Scylla of the Drakes, I would definitely run Opportunist instead of Cycle of Violence. So I don't really see a massive need for going down support tree. I would definitely recommend going some version of offense and defense, but this is what I have selected. If you're just going to be using her only for PvE content, you didn't even want to use her in the arena, you already have another arena nuker anyway or whatever, I'd probably just pick up War Master on this champion. So guys, let's go ahead and try her out here, right? So let's start. Man, these pop-ups today. They're getting on my nerves, Plarium. They're getting on my nerves. Let's go ahead and start out in Secret Room, not 8. Although we will be spotlighting Morag tomorrow on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Here we go. We put her with a bunch of epic and rare champions. We have Reliquary Tender. Let me just see if Reliquary has clothes on here. Yeah, she does. She does. So she's built in Relentless. So we have a Relentless Reliquary Tender. We have a Royal Guard. I'm going to be curious to see who does more damage. So the Void Legendary Supreme Elhain or Royal Guard. We have a debuffer in Tyrell, and we have Skaramis, who I just did a guide on, guys. I did a guide on Skaramis probably around 3 or 4 days ago. I think it was over the weekend. And I love that champion, man. All right, so that's the crack shot ability. I didn't really notice much damage there. She is at 99% crit rate. We want her at 100% crit rate. I guess it's a good time to talk about her multipliers and also talk about stat priorities on this champion. So obviously attack percentage, crit rate 100%, and getting that crit damage as high as we possibly can are going to be the main priorities. And then it really just comes down to survivability. So again, crit rate 100% is first and foremost, and then we can stack on attack percentage and crit damage as well. It's nice that she's immune to decreased attack. There she goes. Again, comparing damage here, it's really tough against these mobs here, you know, to compare it with somebody like Royal Guard. I think we're going to get a better sense of what she can do against other champions once we run her in the arena. Of course, it's weird when you're going against, granted, they're other champions, but they're also level 220, you know? It's weird comparing a champion with actual artifacts on them in the arena with a champion who's just jacked up their level to get their stats, right? But there we go. That was a really good nuke there. That was the A2, and you can see that it reset the cooldown of the A3. It pretty much killed everybody. So that was pretty impressive, excuse me. So we didn't kill. Unfortunately, we just missed the kill there. She is counterattacking. She's going to get healed up and cleansed by my girl Reliquary Tender. Would love to do a guide on her soon. Somebody request it so I can do it. Speaking of requests, I want to see her. I wanted to see her AoE again. I wanted to see the AoE. It's the next one up. Maybe she can kill everybody with the AoE. Then I want to compare damage. I want to do her lore. I want to try her in the arena. Man, I want a lot today. I want a lot. Okay, so that is... She killed somebody, so again, reduce the cooldown of the A3. You can see how it's a nice kit in terms of synergy there. Dude, shockingly, Supreme Elhain... It's not shocking that she did the most damage here. It's shocking that Skaramis outdamaged Royal Guard, man. I mean, I love this champion, man. He's a really good dude. He's got the Provoke. In case you missed the guide, he's got Provoke with like and then he has basically a turn meter fill AoE attack that actually does damage too. 3-turn Provoke at that. He's a really cool champion. Anyway, Supreme Elhain did come out on top, which honestly is what we'd expect from a legendary champion. So let's go ahead and take a look here at good old hellhades.com. A 2 godlike rating, a 2 attack multiplier on our A1. We have a godlike rating, a 4 attack multiplier on the A2, plus basically 10% again per debuff count, right? A godlike damage rating. And then we have a 6 godlike damage rating on the A3 ability. So while these are great multipliers, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys either. There's definitely bigger and better ones out there. But I would say between the base attack being over 1,500 plus the multipliers, I mean, she's a pretty formidable nuker. I think she does deserve the title of a Void Legendary in terms of her nukage, especially with the resets and the extra turns, cooldowns. However, I can't say she blows me away in terms of like endgame would I be scared in live arena if my opponent drafted Supreme Elhain for PvP content? I want to be clear. No, I wouldn't, because it happened to me and I was like, that's not too bad, you know? So anyway, let's go ahead and run her. That being said though, I'm comparing her in live arena on like a go second team. And I already told you guys, I think her best case scenario, her best use case is going to be on a go first team in the arena. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I have the team. I just did a Cleotyrix. I'll make sure I say that right. Guide yesterday on the channel. We're going to use the same squad here, right? So we're going to come in here, and hopefully this is going to work. Going to get a pretty tanky team here. All right, but they don't have stone skins, so that's good. All right, so here we go, guys. Let's go ahead and see what we can do. So we're going to start with the A3 because, again, if we start with the AoE, right, if we kill somebody, it can reset the cooldown. With this, we can get the extra turn if we kill an enemy, so we're pretty much always going to be going in. Who do you think has the lowest defense here out of all these champions? I think it's probably Mighty Uko. Okay, 133k, we go right back into the AoE, and at least we get rid of both nukers. There's only one problem. Yep, there he is. So I can decrease turn meter with Evil Eye. Oh, God, that hurts, that hurts, that hurts. My word, dude. I'll tell you what, who I am scared of in the arena. I'll tell you who I ban every single time he is picked. This guy right there. So instead of using Seal of Magic, I'm actually going to go in and CC because I can't deal with another heavy hit from him. That's for dang sure, right? So we come back in here. I'm just going to A1. I can't wake up the beast. That's for sure. Now I'm going to come in with the A3. I'm going to try to kill who I think I can actually kill to get the extra turn. Come back in. Here's the A1. Okay. Okay. Let's just A1 here. It's not over till it's over against this dude. Gonna reset cooldowns. Gonna come in, land some debuffs. Come in, land increase attack honor. And this should be a nice easy kill. Boom. All right. So you know what? Again, this is a go first team. This is where I feel like she belongs, man. I feel like she's a very good go first nuker. Let's go ahead and run it against this team as well. And then I'm going to give you some lore, guys. If you're not a lore person, I mean, you made it this far into the video, 17 minutes in. I would request that you guys give it a shot. Give it a shot, because I'm going to be real with you. I was never a lore guy at all until I started reading them, and I was like, you know what? Some of this is pretty good. All right, 186k, man. That's big boy, big girl damage. And then 180k? Yeah, on a go first team, she is definitely, in my opinion, I'm here to say it definitively now, she's a great go first nuker. She really is. She's definitely, what do they give her overall on Hell Hades? They give her a 4 overall rating. And honestly, I would agree. They give her 4.5 in arena defense and offense. Again, I don't think she's the best nuker in the game for the arena, but I think she's, for go first teams, I would say she's, how many times have I said this now? 150 in this video? I would say she's really good. Really, she's up there. She's up there, in my opinion. All right, guys, here we go. All right, let's do this. More than any other event in its long history, the War of the Elves left a lasting scar on the kingdom of Avaria. All high elves, from the monarch to the most humble craftsman, have an opinion on the schism that split and decimated their race. These notions range from rabble-rousing hatred towards dark elves, to forswearing any contact with them, to tentative attempts to lay old divisions aside once and for all. Those with the latter view, a minority in Avaria, only hold out slender hope for reunification, yet the hope persists. For there is a prophecy, or perhaps a fairy tale born of wishful thinking, that speaks of a champion destined to restore peace. It is the reoccurring legend among elves in Avaria and beyond that, and while the specifics may change, its overarching themes remain the same. The champion is always a righteous elven woman. Though she may go by many names and titles, one whose martial skill is second only to her burning conviction and oppose the force of darkness. The legendary elven woman is said to wield a mighty bow, that some believe was crafted by the semi-mythic elven king Dornarok. though others contest the claim and say the bow is a holy gift from a Lightbringer, blessed by Lumia herself. Others yet maintain it has no more than a tool of a human huntsman passed down from one generation to the next. But regardless of the weapon's provenance, the champion wields it with breathtaking grace, and her arrows always find their mark when aimed at wicked hearts. But the champion is more than just a warrior. More of these tales hold her as a learned scholar, a scion from a noble line, born and raised to lead. Throughout her adventures and tribulations, she is meant to form an unlikely alliance with 3 heroes from other parts of Teleria. Some adaptations even claim that one of those allies will be a dark elf, with whose help this champion shall mend the wounds inflicted upon their people by ambition, greed, and narrow-minded zeal. Of course, these may be mere fables of days long gone. Certainly no elf whose values their reputation would dare argue that there is any grain of truth in them, and that a heroine will someday emerge to usher in an age of unity and harmony. And yet the fables persist. Some even whispered that the queen's own niece, Elhain, displays many of the qualities the tale speaks of. And indeed, she is an exceptional markswoman, a savant of elven history, and an heir to the throne of Avaria. If that champion of legend ever existed, Elhain would be a worthy candidate. The royal court, however, has little tolerance for such idle gossip, and more than a few Avarian nobles resent the very thought of fraternization or, Lumia forbid, reunion with the Dark Elves. As for Elhain herself, quite what Elhain herself thinks of the stories for now is unknown. So I think I know who her guy is, you know? I think if we take a little walk over, not to make it too obvious, Plarium releasing all the champions all at the same time, man. But I think her guy might be Supreme Kale. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this guide of Supreme Elhain. I think she's a really, really good nuker. She can help you out, as you saw in today's video, both on Go First teams in the arena and really almost anywhere as a nuker and a damage dealer. She has really good synergy between her A2 and her A3 as well. That mini cleanse on the A1. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.